Good evening, cordial crowd, to week 3 of ETF2L's own 6 vs 6 season 50, where 4 fans, 4 France, 45 fortresses, while greatness wielding giants witness gaming, clamor to find a third successive victory after dashing Mind Gaming and the Blood Sail Buccaneers in the previous weeks. Then producing leisure activity right onto your screen is our producer tonight, while Dave has a sixth sense for this very matchup. Dave, we've dug one map out of the grave, but also we have just arguably the two top teams this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the last few seasons, really, these have been the teams to beat. Two former Prem champions, witness now essentially world champions. You know, they won an Intercontinental LAN, first time a European team had done it for a long time. So they're very much the team to beat, but for Fence as well, as you say, very formidable team and former champions themselves. So it is a really tasty matchup here, Tomato.
Very, very a tasty matchup. And what can we throw here in as well? I suppose map bans, or rather picks, I suppose, since Forfins, they banned Bagel, Witness Gaming banned Metal. Nothing out of the ordinary so far, but then Witness Gaming picked Sunshine. Okay, who cares? Sunshine is first map. But then Forfins picked Prolands. And I don't know about anyone watching this. Maybe some people, maybe the majority of our players are not old enough to still remember that map. I dug it out a little bit from the statistics. I came back to season 28, maybe in the 30s it was also there, but well over 5 to 6 years ago is the last time we saw this map played competitively.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. I'm really looking forward to that map following up on Sunshine here. It's been certainly a while since we played, as you pointed out. It's one of these maps that kind of us boomers have always wanted to bring back for quite a while. There were definitely flaws on the map, and Prolands it attempted to fix some of the flaws, particularly that last point. The last point changed a lot once like scout speed and stuff came into the game, but Prolands did his best to fix some of those flaws. Didn't think it really quite hit the mark fully, which is probably why we haven't seen it for quite a while. But I think we've had it out of the map pool for long enough now that a lot of some of the players, maybe even in this server, despite a lot of them being quite experienced, might not have played this map in official before. It's certainly, if they have, it hasn't been for many, many years. So it's going to be very exciting to see, I think.
Me, it's mildly awkward because we have Sunshine first, so you can't see the map we're talking about, but obviously the big elephant in the room, don't really see a small elephant either, is Prolands. I skimmed a little bit through their pre-scrims or warm-up games, and I just have a wonderful quote here from Thomas, who said, "This map," talking about Prolands, "this map was made to make people not like the map." I'm not sure if he has played competitively before, definitely, but um, that might make some judgments here, Dave, from me. Maybe Forfans just picked Prolands to screw with Witness Gaming.
Possibly. I mean, there are some players certainly on the Witness gaming side. Celentis has definitely played this map before. He's obviously been around for a while. Uh, he's probably the one I'm looking to when we move over to that map to really put in a performance. But I guess, seeing as we're starting off on Sunshine, seeing as we seem to have Sunshine played for at least one of the maps, so every casted official so far this season, we should probably talk a little bit about this map to start with.
We surely can do that, and I am segueing readily into that. I mean, I was pointing out Witness Gaming basically won the first 2 week games of their season. Forfans won 6-0 versus Aragosta in week 2, but most importantly, they had a 3-3 tie versus Dirty Maggots. Perfect team name, also some recurring factors back in there. And we had Sunshine and we had Gullywash in there. But maybe since they're giving us so much time here waiting for not any player here, let's introduce the teams officially. I'd say I go with Forfans. They have Nevo on the Pocket Scout, QB on the very lethal Flank Scout. My favorite cubistic painter. I have been iterating this. Broochman then on Pocket Soldier, Demul on the flank, Delhi on Demolition classes, and Mula on Medic. Witness Gaming, do you have the roster here, Dave?
Yeah, we've got Thomas and Ixie are going to be the scouts. It's going to be Salentes and Pappy on the soldiers. It's going to be Lucas Tank on the demo man. and it is auto on the medic. So full roster once more for Witness Gaming, and a very formidable one at that.
I am, though, not taking a very long shot out here and saying Witness Gaming is still the favorites here, probably in this matchup. Let's see if Four Fans can show their dominion. But I mean, Witness Gaming picking Sunshine, it is a little bit of bread and butter here. I am eager to see how well they play with Salentis, since they have not really done that like the last season or the one before that, or I think even the one before that. But obviously, a very old school player, very experienced, very talented. Still, what he has in the banks. Um, Not sure who is your star player maybe to watch out. I mean, you were talking about Celentis. Do you have anything else on Forfans, for example?
I think probably not necessarily the star player of the match, but perhaps the most important one, I think, will come down to Delhi. We've seen kind of Lucas over the last couple of years or so really assert himself as the dominant demo man in Europe, and to be honest, to some extent the world. I think his LAN performance was incredibly impressive earlier this year. So Delhi really has to step up and prove that he is at least a match with Lucas, if not able to better him. And, you know, starting off on this first map and on these mids as well, demo is fairly important. So really looking for Delhi to step up, because I think when he's on his game, he's a match for anyone. He's just not quite as consistent as someone as illustrious as Lucas.
I will have my eyes peeled toward the scout versus scout, though. I mean, Thomas, or to topple Thomas, it takes not only brunt force, but also just raw deathmatch fight here. Nivo might be up to the challenge, not 100% convinced on that. Cubed against Ixie is definitely a matchup on the flank that I am peering my eye towards. Since Ixie, the X Factor per se, he even has X featured in his name, but QB sometimes even on sniper, very accomplished himself. So that might be something that I am maybe predicting. Forfans trying to bust open the flank in unconservative scenarios, and but then again, it's very interesting how Celentis once more slips into that role of not even a solo bomb. I'd wager. I mean, we were coining the term boyfriend bomb with Peppy and Celentis. They both work together like a tandem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think even week one, they had Hugo on Soldier, and they still looked really, really good on this map when they were bombing together. But perhaps thinking about the map picks, exactly why Witness would have wanted to pick this map. I think one of the reasons is obviously they're comfortable on it, their strengths on it, but possibly also they see this as a little bit of a weakness for Forfence, because they did play it week one against Dirty Maggots and they were defeated 5-1 on it. I mean, it was probably a little bit closer than that suggests. We did bring that cast to you guys, but you know that's still quite quite indicative of the fact that maybe the Frenchies aren't, at least at the time, were not quite as practiced and as polished on this map as they would like. So perhaps Witness see this as a sort of a weaker map for Forfence. But you've got to also look at the factor that Forfence opted not to ban this map. So there's obviously at least one more map that less rather have played.
I mean, there's only so many maps you can ban. They banned Bagel, and that evidently is a King of the Hill map, so they were eliminating at least one of the possibilities that we have a King of the Hill map here right now in the gears. But if you are wondering what is the key to success for Forfans, what is the key to success to unlock this game going live, I think we're waiting on Delhi, who was reconnecting herself. But I have another key to you, a key to open up crates. Where can you do that? On Manco Store, mayhaps, as this is our sponsor for tonight. Obviously, you can not only buy keys there, but thanks for sponsoring us. That was the sellout. Delhi instantly rejoined. He wants to just cut this train of thought of sellout short. Thomas now leaves the server. Nothing has changed, you know. Prolands, back when Prolands was still played, this was the same idea. Ben was already worried we might start on time.
Yeah, he was trying to get us in Mumble as early as possible because, as you know, these pro matches, they always start on time, don't they, Tomato? Oh my god. It is half
Always.
past now, so they should be readying up. I mean, we can't seem to have 12 players in the server at the same time, so just going to have to wait once more on Thomas, unfortunately. But I guess an opportunity, you know, we gave a quick shout out to Manco Store for supporting this season. Also want to thank you to AimTech, who came in with the sub supporting the channel here on Twitch. So thank you very much, everyone, supporting continued TF2 action.
And you just unlocked another gear in me if you give me so much time. I think on Raw Deathmatch, honestly, now pointing out concrete, very concrete talking points, figuratively speaking, on the midpoint. Witness Gaming probably has the deathmatch advantage, but on last, anything can happen. As now, Crepuscular Crowd, once you have woken up, this very season has woken up, and we're hitting onto a new stride. The red team is featuring Witness Gaming, and the blue team is featuring the Four Fans Squadron as we're entering Sunshine.
Absolutely. Both demos basically come through at the same time, get onto the point at the same time. It's going to be QB looking to get aggressive across the point immediately. Happy up in the air. It's going to be dueling with Dimu. Goes for the spectacular air shot, but doesn't quite find it. But with Delhi going down, an opportunity now, maybe. Actually, no. You can see the Witness are really far back at the moment. Haven't really got too much into it. Now they're chasing forward. They know they have the demo advantage. Just healing up, just going forward now. So neither team really landing a decisive blow there, but Witness are going to take the first mid.
Ixie wanted to have a very decisive blow, though, from the side flank. Was not able to lethally snag upon it, but they used Salentis there mostly as a distraction play, as that allowed so much space on then Delhi to be eradicated. Bruchman fell afterward, and soon now we follow afterward into the second point. Delhi already shot. So low HP. Thomas is charging in. Timur turned into bloody bits, and the chase is unleashed. Liber only has to hurry out alive with Mula. They still have the 100% in the gear. They want to take this exchange here. Never mind. So much damage. So much deathmatch, but ultimately the second point is seeded.
Yeah, both sides were just able to run through choke and run down Delhi. Just got double focus fired super quickly, and now you can see Witness already posturing onto second. Ixie already towards the point. He's going to go down. Thomas is going to think better of it and get out of there. No real threat towards a sack in towards Muller. Actually, the Frenchies are looking to maneuver themselves out to second order. They're looking to push with these two picks.
Drive-by frag from Peppy. Demul now battles versus Salentis, has anything help though by QB, who peppers him out. The Ubers are traded now as you peer toward this concrete area on the second point. It is sort of a paradigm to work off. Muller so weak in the post fight, 40 HP only, that forces them to leave. Evo also doesn't have heals provided to him. Bruchman now tries to open this up, but no heals still dished out. It is though Peppy being eradicated. Wonderful focus fire by the projectile classes.
Yeah, really nice rocket from Jamul onto Ixis. A bombing from Salentis now trying to land onto either Delhi or Muller. Does get some damage down on to Delhi, but one rocket is not enough to follow up onto that buffed Demo Man. So he's going to survive for now. The Frenchies are going to survive throughout all of that. It looked a little bit risky for a moment. That was a decent solo Uber from Thomas, but at the end of the day, they just didn't get enough value out of that post fight, and they are going to settle for just controlling mid for now. Witness. It's still, it's them in the ascendancy. When you have control of this midpoint on Sunshine, it is you who is really making the plays, who is looking to really open the game up from these stalemates. So they'll be happy enough to have, only taken a minor loss there.
Albeit, Four Fans had 20 to 15% advantage here. Demul is coming close. One very high damage rocket unleashed onto a scout, and Demul now has a wonderful afterward jump upon Peppy. Salentis down as well. No soldiers here to control the air, to control the choke points. It is all upon Lucas Tank, who is walking out with his compatriots rather passively to try to plaster it forth, but by this brute force, they are just chasing them out. It's a 4 versus 6 scenario.
I really like how Four Fans are playing this game. They're not allowing Witness to just freely sack into them, not playing too passively. They're really making the most of the space when they have a pick or two. They're really pushing off it, not going super deep, not taking too many risks, but really just bullying their opponents with those extra players.
High bomb from Bruchman. Can he no, doesn't find anything. He only has a fake bomb, but they're all going to the air shots. So much damage plucked into the sky. Ultimately, Ixie cleans off the Moore. QB piped as well. Another punch thrown upon Lucas Tank, but it limits a 1v2 trade. No Demul, no QB, no Lucas Tank, but now the Uber is popped. So weak Delhi ultimately responds in kind. Long over duration, but you can see Thomas wants to chase. They have to multi.
Yeah, Thomas just focusing on everyone who isn't Ubered, and one of those players was Bruchman. He was quite out in the cold on the flank at the tail end of this. It looks like with this cleanup crew coming in for Witness, they're going to roll themselves into this midpoint. They have 3 picks. They're just stalling a little bit to wait for Lucas, but I think they might even have more on their mind.
the interrogatory I'm throwing to you is here: who has the better deathmatch or even deathmatch fight within those Uber exchanges? I am tempted to say it is on Witness Gaming, since Thomas very lethal, but so far they've been way better in those sort of Uber engagements. And before, I felt like Forfans, I don't even have time to bleed that Thomas is already snacking through too low. We saw that from Ixi before, but nothing really is found. Celentis once more culled. Ixi punched down. They're still in peril here. Lucas and Peppy try to leave through balcony. Lucas is down. One rocket onto Mula. Where did Otto die?
Yeah, also got chased super hard. They really smelt blood as soon as they got those couple of early picks, particularly that crucial fast one onto Thomas, and they just W'd forward the Frenchies and chased Otto really deep. He was trying to get out via the pack through that cafe area, but sniped from Ixi from the forward spawn, but it's only Brugman that he finds.
Only that, 100% still and ticking. Ixi is trying to peek toward that cafe side. Apparently, Mula is still caffeinated enough to walk through, and they have 80% Uber advantage, still counting on it. And Peppy has some rockets alongside with Celentis. They find zero frags of note, but I mean, they're playing it very safe here. I think, yes, dungeon push already.
Yep. Onto the scout deep in towards spawn, but it's going to be easy enough to kite that for the Witness Gaming gamers. They do have a sentry gun for a while, and it was just removed. They're going to switch off before, so not really too much found other than a ton of incoming damage from Forfence. Now Celentis has been picked up, but I think they've lost too many for it. Pappy perhaps in a position to go for something of his. It's going to end up being a trade for Brugman, but overall a complete fail push there by the Frenchies.
But there's a black cap though, shenanigan. Du musst lassen, no one is contesting it. He's completely alone, securing it under their noses. 1-0 lead for Forfence. The cheeky shenanigans. They checked everything. Well, except the one position where he was hiding from. And I was almost ready to sing them praises on that last point. The double bomb, Brugman and Dumur almost obliterated them all, but it was like 1 or 2 rockets shy of completely nuking Witness Gaming away. Did you see where he hit?
No, I wasn't watching it. I was just expecting it to be a clean push out, but either way, Dumur sneaks through, gets the round for his team. Now we move over to another mid-fight here to Bozo.
We do indeed, and Brugman is already controlling his own cafe area. High bomb from him, prevalent in his own positioning. Once more, Celentis is punched down by Nevo. Another complementary punch thrown at Ixi, and no scout, no soldier. Peppy also down to half HP, has to bomb himself out. Forfence with the mid-fight victory, and yes, they're playing this not only conservative, but able to soak Celentis' position up.
Yeah, a lot of momentum for Forfence right now. They just want a round after pushing the back all the way. They just want a pretty clean mid-fight at the end of the day as well. Looking to make a bit of presence felt on this second point. Brugman going in for a bomb, gets himself out there, gets himself to safety as well. So going to be an opportunity maybe for Forfence to rebound immediately with some other type of sack.
Perhaps we see some more shades here of Forfence. Otto took 50 damage across the map. Idle spam. You want to pre-damage that medic to have a soldier fly in, and then one damaged rocket already point blank ideally is enough. Mula is beaming his own players. High bomb once more from Brugman. Double soldiers on the fence, not sitting on the fence all that long. QB cult. Timur dying. Brugman very low on HP. 3-man sack.
Pappy living throughout all of that. There was so much focus forced down on him, but he managed to pick up a pack in the meantime. Bombing from Celentis, decent serve, and a pop out from Mula. Pappy's going to go down in the meantime as well. He's actually going to be used aggressively here by Thomas to just try and chase places. So they're actually just going to run into that forward spawn and get themselves back out to last and back out to safety.
Wonderful. I mean, those soldiers definitely made a meal out of that fight. Now it's the Moore though, unleashing alongside with Brugman. Thomas is not for his world. Otto trapped in behind as well. A 3K out of nowhere. Blink. You miss it. Slap the fellow's finger. They're absolutely catching Witness Gaming off guard so often. Celentis in forward spawn as a sniper, but nothing is found.
Yeah, they obviously thought they were just safe to go and cap up that second point, but it was just a medic and a scout, and it wasn't going to be enough. Thomas and Otto didn't expect just the incoming flying attack from those Frenchies and ended up just completely encircled with QB flanking in on the scout from behind as well. Complete wipe there for Witness Gaming. Now they're in a rough spot. They have a big Uber disadvantage. Playing nice and far back, both soldiers, Silentis and Pappy, jumping in towards his stroke to try and get a foresight, but Mula's just playing safe in Cafe.
Buchman survives on 4 HP, shoots a rocket straight down to his feet so he doesn't crater and limits the damage output. Silentis is also cleaned on the side flank, but now a wonderful meat shot as Mula had his view distracted there, forced the Uber gun. But Lucas is dying in this disarray of actions. Also Thomas, Otto not long for this world, absolutely being eradicated out of his forward position, and Peppy is the only lone spawner. He has to deal with Mula, with Nevo, with Buchman, with so many players, but they cannot find salvation here in Witness Gaming. Both ends are here to stay.
Yeah, just overstaying their welcome a little bit on that second point there, Witness, thinking that they could contest the fight because there wasn't the cleanest entry by any means by Forfence, but they still had a lot of that Uber ready to go, and it chased them all the way down deep into lobby and ended up finishing with the Uber trailing it off as they were running all the way onto that last point, and just no salvation for Witness Gaming, who are really struggling at the start of this game.
You don't have to be excessively prudent to see some more shades here of Forfence. Playing conservative before, but very aggressive once they can afford to. Bruchman has a high panorama bomb. Another one is straight flung, but Silentis proves consequential now with the rockets and his position. So much damage flung upon the red Tetris area. Peppy is now controlled, and somehow they still soak this up. 2 soldiers down. It's the repeating storyline.
Yeah, everyone was so low for Forfence there, but Thomas didn't feel like risking it, didn't feel like changing his arm. Actually trying to stay in the second point. The bomb is in from Bruchman. Surely Auto will be forced if he even gets up to Uber. 98% just about gets it in time. He's able to flash Thomas, is able to flash Lucas, and now they can chase forward. Mula has Uber of his own, but only one player to support him with it.
QB scout taxi is enough though. QB, no, Mula is sidestepping. Can he keep himself alive? Surfs on the health pack, takes one rocket, can't get the pickaxe in his face. Ultimately the force is coming out. They might get some players though off that. Ixie is dominated now. A combination of QB and Mula does the job eventually. QB, perfect scenario, perfect life form there almost. Mula was forced, but still 2-0 lead. 12 minutes have flown by.
Yeah, Mula was forced, but crucially he had to be the follow-up from Ixie to force him, and now the bombs are coming into second. They're trying to make their way, trying to make all the space gifted to them before this Uber comes up for Auto. It is imminent, but everyone is pushed back at the moment for Witness Gaming. It's a little bit of cap time here, but you'd think they'd want to contest it now they have the Uber ready to go.
It was only Ixie there. Peppy is down now on the perimeter. Quite a jeopardy, quite hazardous here. Jeopardy was unleashed. Otto down to 50 HP. Has Uber in the banks, but ultimately not forced, not dropped either. They basically lost Lucas Tank before this entire engagement started, and that was definitely their downfall. A very undisciplined, or well, rather unsure why they were so undisciplined. The Uber trade is happening.
Yeah, Thomas taking the Uber in, but as you say, Mula has already got it himself, so able to flash a bunch of players, but Thomas is still just bulldozing forward. Nevo is going to get blown up by Lucas. Nowhere for him to escape, and Thomas still on the chase, looking for more. Just the one pick at the moment, so you'd think that'd be enough for the Frenchies to continue this fight, and one player still capping, so I mean, fighting continues on this second point. Happy looking to push himself in.
There's another jump. It's always jarring. So much action is always ongoing. We haven't even passed 14 minutes. I feel like I've been casting for 2 hours. Literally constant deathmatch. Absolute relentless masterclass TF2 double soldier bombing. I feel like no single soldier on either side exists for themselves. They always double bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. The great synergy between especially the soldiers, but you know, the whole team. Both of these teams look like a well-oiled machine, both playing really at a high level, as you'd expect of probably the 2 best teams in Europe right now. We're gonna set the time for just a minute.
QB so low on HP. Ultimately, Silentis and Peppy are eradicated, are off this world, shredded to pieces, but that is the double sack that you can afford to do since the sentry gun is built and Forfence is turtling up on last.
Yeah, I mean, a double sack ends up being a double stack just into a sniper. The sniper was basically the only target for it. They didn't spot exactly where Mula was. I mean, he was protected by a sentry gun, as he is right now as we come into this pause. So it's going to be difficult for Witness to break this open, actually. You know, Lucas might even have been caught out a little bit. I don't know. No one's really in position, I think, to follow up. I don't think Bruce was going to be able to land that frag, but it, yeah, opportunity now. But we haven't really seen too many Stomates on this last point up until this point in this match. So be interesting to see whether we're going to get a little bit of a slower spell, because it has, as you say, been breakneck action so far this game.
I'm letting you be privy in my thoughts. I am cosplaying as a sentry gun rocket now, fourth at that. You can make a wish, you can make a prediction. I'm looking at those 4 sentry gun rockets fired now, and the question is, do those hit Lucas? He was juggled, by the way. He tried to propel himself forward, and then the shots from the sentry gun propelled himself upward, probably able to surf it out. But I mean, 139 HP, obviously not only the sentry gun rockets alone can kill him. They do not hit him. Thus, Crater, though, is finished off by Butchman. I wanted to go into meta tactics, but the pause was rather fast. No Lucas tank on the field doesn't really change the dynamic of this, though.
Ooh, Damu is going to dunk Thomas there in that close range choke point. So that's going to just probably slow down Witness for a second, and no Demoman for a few seconds. Thomas still waiting on his spawn. So, I mean, no real effort from Forfence to make any kind of push out, and that is going to allow here Witness Gaming to bring Ixie up on the sniper.
QB is on the pyro roll instead, and we see Ixie on the upper hand, greeting from Counter-Strike, peeking from this left side from his own perspective, but a double trade there on the players it needed for Forfence to assemble some sort of order back, and it did not ultimately matter, though. 2 players down, and that prompts the push right now. Delhi was plugged prior. It's QB, the pyro, the sentry gun still alive. Ixie is now scoping out the angles. Does he have an angle after all? Thomas is still in. He's still wreaking havoc.
Yeah, Space making an aggressive Uber trade. This cap time on the point now for Thomas. Lucas is going to just dance on top of it with a sun there. There is a block just about. Silentes is close as well. Maybe Pappy will be able to just bring his mouse forward and land on the point. Just everyone pogoing towards that point, and eventually Pappy's cap time was the one that proved crucial.
This is where the pass call comes in, and this is where the pass came in. So very happy to see that nothing influential was changed, honestly, just after the round concluded. But I mean, we see Lucas Tank dying, and in the end, Witness Gaming just win that push, because 2 players down and Thomas calls. We go instantly full Davai, you would say, as a Russian, into the enemy team, and that has been a recurring theme. It narrows down the lead for Forfence, 2-1.
Absolutely. Delhi's a little bit quicker this time, but with a little bit less health. So it's going to be Pappy coming on forward with the bomb. Silentes getting the crucial damage, like Bruchman and Kubi both going down. It's just an annihilation here for Witness Gaming. The pause that was looking to bring in the tactical ideas for Forfence ended up just completely activating the midpoint DM for Witness Gaming, and they're already thinking about how they're going to cap out this last point.
Already locking them out of here. Second point only kept now, so it is contestation available here for Kubi and his compatriots. Otto doesn't have yet. They have to plow a fourth. Otto's completely trapped in here. Nevo on the chase through the dungeon area. Can he incarcerate him? Cannot do so. Otto takes up the health pack. Another Quarrelsome Quarrel plugged right into Brutchman, and they clean those players off that had frag potential glaring up in front of their eyes, and the follow-up aggression might help them here. Lucas Tank is glowing, and he is stickying, he is pounding so many players away, and that's a 2-2 tied out in the matter of 3 to 4 minutes, and it was wondrous. Dave, what I saw in the mid-fight, what Witness Gaming did to adapt, they took high grounds, especially on the bell tower, and then they all bombarded on this Tetris area.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great stuff, and a good rebound as well on that last point. I thought Otto was going to get chased down under. I thought he was going to get finished off, but no. Preserves his life beautifully, and crucially has those heals to support his team in that what ended up being a last push there. So another mid-fight, and the French is shell-shocked from the last one, looking to bounce back with hopefully a little bit of a safer entry this time.
At the benchmark of the 12-minute marker, we have already entered the 5th mid-fight here, as those soldiers are swinging themselves forward, and Daly is pronging himself out of there. One pipe delivered on Peppy, but it's a 1v1 trade. QB down for the count as well. Demur controlling his own red Tetris area, but Thomas has him dealt deftly with by his sentry, scattergun rather, not the sentry gun. Celent is down for the count. They're still battling about those patented choke points here. Müller is leaving. He's being chased though. Only 3 players, so weak as well. The bombardment.
What a bomb by Lucas, just throwing himself into flowers, getting the force out. A lot of players are going down. QB is cleaning up Lucas and Thomas in the meantime, but throughout all of that, Auto has been able to sit back safely on this mid cap and build up 100% Uber.
Forthwith, it means 100% you call it out. It was able to shatter this mid-fight here and definitely made Müller sweat 1 or 2 sweat drops there. Ultimately, Daly is clapping himself in the face with the katana, only building some progress. So there's a double bomb down the choke. Celent is not long for this world, being revenged upon. Demur waiting for another aiding bolt, and he's 35th in the position. Forces out the medic. Lucas down as well.
Yeah, he's just hiding around that corner. Lucas didn't spot him for quite a while. Was able to get a big bomb in after taking that arrow, getting the force out. Big bomb in from Pappy now. Is just going to land on top of Daly, and Ixie is there to follow up 1v1ing move. He is not long for this world. He goes down, and Thomas is looking to add to his collection of frags as well. Nice rocket onto him. It's going to get followed up by a Bruggeman splash rocket to take him out, but throughout all of this, just the forward momentum has been for Witness. They have control of the second point. They have 50% Uber advantage here, and they'll be looking to convert this what will be a 3rd round.
Apologies for everyone, or to everyone even, that doesn't like shouting. I've been shouting 24/7, but this game and matchup definitely warrants it. So much deathmatch, so many insanely fast conversion rates all the time, and now we are eyeing up toward a 60% Uber advantage by Witness Gaming, plowing through their own top right area, right into the sentry gun. Is now minced meat, bolt and metallic one at that. The QB Heavy is coming up close to the front though, and it is a scuffle.
Yeah, there's a scuffle. Everyone on the low ground, everyone low health other than Thomas, but he is the last to leave, and in fact, he is not going to be able to get himself out of there. So Frenchies, they smell blood in the water. They have a couple of picks to 1 and are going forward now. Bruggeman in for a bomb. It's actually going to be the Pappy bomb that is perhaps more consequential, just forcing Müller to think a little bit about where he wants to position himself on this point. More spam coming in from Lucas as well. In the meantime, there's still a ton of play around the point. Celentis is thinking about putting himself in there as well. Just everyone baiting a little bit at the moment and not finding anything absolutely decisive. But as it's worked out, the Frenchies have muscled their way onto second.
That was a fickle and inconstant matter for Forfans. They were almost fortunate that Daly was not falling down there. He was in an isolated position. Müller was beaming players on the point rather, and if Daly went down there, then Witness Gaming would have definitely plowed much forth indeed, as Müller also went down to 50 HP. Auto, in the midst of all of this, goes down to half HP as well, so we have a 2-2-2 tied out. We haven't seen any stalemates. I'm not tempting toward that prediction that we see one going forth from now on, as there's already a bomb in. So many players. Peppy had 3 to 4 players shot down to like what, very low single-digit HP or double-digit.
Yeah, Müller went super low there, kited all the way back into lobby. So I mean, when you've got your medic kiting back like that, you can't really go immediately in for a counter sack. So as you see, everyone on the Forfence side of things is just waiting a little bit, waiting for those buffs before they do anything. Probably going to wait for another Witness Gaming throw of the dice before they counter with their own maneuver.
Curious if they are opting to deviate from their success formula, which is double soldier sack wave. Thomas is prying himself forth here a little bit. There's a 2-pronged attack, usually through choke, through the grass area. Salintis and Ixi are positioned there. They are only really trading spam so far, allowing some sort of opening, but Brugman doesn't really overcommit himself. He's keeping the flank clear and packed, and nothing really is happening. No opening is presenting itself.
Yeah, they're just trying to pry their opponents open. Actually, Salintis is going to go in behind here. QB is on the chase. He's well aware of him. He's going to duel him in that lower area, which would normally favour the soldier, but no, he's just going to back off Nevo. Oh, actually, look at the drop telly.
That was wondrous there, and Ixi is still close for the count here, maybe up for the grabs for QB and Demur, but ultimately that was very interesting. Salintis snuck into the lower lobby, you were casting it play by play, but then Witness Gaming realized, yeah, just push through a choke point, but miraculous pipes from the Iron Bomber shreds Auto to pieces.
Absolutely, and propels Mula into a big Uber advantage situation. Effectively, full Uber advantage. They're looking to put themselves in through this choke point. A couple of sickies they might have to deal with. Deli's already shifted himself over to the cafe area. Actually, the Mula is just playing it nice and safe. Now rotating back to Flowers, expecting some incoming soldier aggression on towards him, but they think better of it at the moment. Actually, the spam comes in and forces out the French Uber. They're chasing it super deep in towards Auto. That rocket's super close from him, but he is gonna swivel away from it, just about keeping himself alive and keeping 80% Uber alive.
No one close enough to follow up on this wonderful damage, but a very intelligent play though by Witness Gaming. They brought Thomas to the second point on Sniper, not usually what you expect, and then Forfans tried to hide out of sight, but they were leaving themselves open to the double spam, and Thomas is alone on the point. Demur tries to high bomb, eats some projectiles into his face, so he can't really initiate, and that means a 100%, 30 to 40% Uber advantage for that matter is enough to threat the integrity of the second point for Forfans. They are backing out, they don't have Uber up yet.
Moving in slowly, there's a big high soldier from Demur, a little bit of a bait. Brugman is now thinking about getting himself in position, just going to play the belt tower for now and actually just force out Witness Gaming. It didn't have enough space, didn't have enough momentum onto that midpoint, and with the Uber now coming up from the Frenchies, they're in a position to maybe go for something. Brugman once more with a fake bomb. Demur comes in a little bit closer, dueling with Thomas. He is gonna trade out there, but it's made a lot of space for the Forfans team.
It is really just a pincer movement here. Let's see who pops first. It is Mula popping first, and Ixi is dodging out of sight. Thomas is down, the pocket scout, but Ixi can do so well what Thomas could do beforehand, as they have a much longer Uber duration, but no soldier really to nuke them in the choke here, but that could have been definitely gone awry for Forfans. Ixi is still winning though, he's still charging, they are not letting go. It's Demur in behind, but Witness Gaming come out on top. Wondrous lead by Ixi.
A superstar medic play as well from Auto, just milking that Uber really nicely and finding a crucial arrow onto Ixi in that choke point as well. Really turning what probably should have been a big fight loss for them into a fight victory. They're now continuing to scrap on this midpoint. Deli putting himself forward, but putting himself in harm's way as Thomas and Ixi just close pincer him. Bomb in from Salintis, just going to play on that little roof high ground, and actually the Witness Gaming, the boys are back in town. They're looking to maneuver forward through this choke point. Thomas is already on the chase, everyone running back from the Frenchies, evacuating out of the second point as Witness continue to steam forward here.
High octane action. Brugman is still caught in behind. He is able to leave out. Forfans have to use all the tricks up their sleeves, all the tricks of their armamentarium to still keep alive, as the Chaos Theory is still unleashed. Peppy is in. They can't really control those suiciders. Ultimately, it nets Witness Gaming a 4th point for themselves here. And looking at the last of Forfans, it was an absolute crazy sequence of play there. Honestly, like literally clamoring to get a frag.
Yeah, that bomb from Pappy was pretty close as well. He definitely saw the lights of Mula's eyes, but he was just about exploded before he could unleash a crucial rocket to force Mula out there. So Mula's Uber will be preserved for now. Thinking exactly about how they want to approach this next. At the moment, it's just double top right soldier spam trying to get rid of this sentry gun. The sentry gun does go down despite the presence of that Levo Pyro, so it's going to be a while before it's back up to that level. There's not so much ammo on this point. Thinking about the soldier, opportunity to bombs all the way to spawn, does Silentus, but he does go down for it.
Silentus is relentless, but ultimately they are not crossed off the senses. They immediately take this in, though. They lost one. QB was dealt with on the perimeter. No engineer, but it is a long over duration. Nevo is also chasing out XD on fire on the literal Minofwords, able to hop out alive. Let's see if we can get the emergency in on time. We do, and what is still urgent is this cap here is open. So much cap time, double scout and a medic, and it's once more this scuffle. You think you're safe on 4fins, you're chasing out Witness, but guess what? They're just regrouping.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Fence. They had the Pyro up in that post-tuber scenario and did not work out what fell for them. Were not able to clean up a couple of frags, which probably would have made the difference there. Just couldn't find that final hit scan damage, and very, very much do pay a heavy toll for it as we go into what will be the last mid-fight, and they need a super quick round to bring this back for Fence.
They need to speedrun a TF2 now for France, for Fans. Need to do that instead now. Dumoul is battling versus Ixi. Another Gambit claimed by themselves. Lucas down, which is already very well for them. Ixi down as well. No Silentus, no Auto. Only 2 players up alive. It's easier to say what players are alive than what are down, though Peppy has still some very lethal rockets to throw into the fray. The midpoint is capped, and now second is open. Full advantage.
Yeah, 30 seconds here. Thomas is doing the little hide, and he gets the frag onto Mula, takes the medic out, takes the Uber out of the equation. That might be the play that secures them this game. They've got players up on last, they've got the heals up on last, and there's going to be no French Uber here.
Might shatter the hopes and dreams of 4Fans. Also, Peppy comes in with a psychological warfare through his own chat. But now it's his players completely jumping into the air. But Ixi shreds them apart with the Tomislav on the last point. And a 3-2 for Witness Gaming on their own map pick. A very hefty and insanely hard-fought 3-2 victory there on their own map pick. I mean, it was 2-0, I think, for 4Fans for the longest time. Then Witness Gaming bouncing back in the matter of 3 to 4 minutes to a 2-2, and then ultimately with 1.5 minutes left on the clock, they make it 3-2.
Yeah, really impressive comeback from Witness there. They looked, as you said, pretty much down and out. They were rocked for long periods of the opening stages of that game for sure. Really, Frenchies looking impressive, just seemed inevitable with their kind of steamrolls forward whenever they had those brief opportunities. But something flicked a switch on for Witness Gaming, and they just brought it out. I think we've seen quite a few times so far this season where they've been a little bit slow starters on a bunch of maps, and this one was no different. But what a comeback and what a game.
What a game. Indeed, nothing to add here. I mean, only building on that foundation in terms of statistics, but I also want to just quickly note on what I saw, the shift of dynamics. In the first third of this entire map timer, it was 4Fins mostly playing conservative on their own terms. Then they immediately shifted into a different gear, very aggressive, always catching out Witness Gaming. They were not really ready for this follow-up aggression of 4Fins, but then a 2-2 tied out in such a short period time span. You can never count Witness Gaming out, because then 4Fins wasn't playing conservative how they wanted to play. No, they were playing rather very defensive. Almost all the players were crossed off the census and became a statistic, because it was a double bump. It was Ixi, it was Thomas, and those two, I am throwing it to you, are topping the charts here in terms of total frags dished out. 24 frags fall in the favor of Thomas. He still claims the primacy of those frags and goes up to a 1.0 KD, but Ixi has a 2.0 KD.
Yeah, Ixi with an even better stat line. Not quite as much damage as Thomas, but a impressive performance nonetheless. I mean, it was pretty close. A lot of these stats across the board, you can see not a lot of difference between any of the players. No one really standing out as a huge carry for the game. No one really standing out from a low light perspective. I mean, some of those soldier numbers don't look that impressive, but I think it's fair to say the Witness soldiers did do their job, even if they don't get rewarded on the scoreboard for it. They were, obviously spending a lot of time making the plays, making the space, and often sacking in as well, which doesn't always reward you on the logs. But overall, impressive stuff. Good numbers for those scouts on Witness Gaming especially, and they'll probably be looking to continue that on this second map.
82 frags fall in the favor of Witness Gaming, totaling up and summed up all the frags of Forfans. They have even 6 more, they have 88 frags, but the stark difference, or not even stark, the moderate difference, I'd say, is that the Witness Gaming scouts have more frags than their counterparts, and their own soldiers have more deaths than their counterparts. But you already said it. You initiate a lot, you do a lot of damage. Sometimes you get a frag, sometimes you don't, but ultimately you do create the momentum and the damage. That was already a wonderful fire start to this matchup, but now I have said it. Dave has also said it. We've dug another wonderful map out of the grave. It is Prolands.
Yep, absolutely. Been a long time since we've seen this map, and I think it is about due. It is one of the classic competitive TF2 maps. Arguably, I think for a while it was the staple 6v6 competitive map, and I've seen a lot of highlights over the years on this map, and it has been a shame that we haven't been able to showcase it for quite a while. People, haven't really favoured how it changed with some of the meta adjustments, some of the balance adjustments made, especially to that scout speed. I think made a big difference in terms of how it played out. But regardless, it is a map that does bring hype moments, does bring some crazy plays, and does give, I think, all classes an opportunity to really bring something to the table.
If you rewind back the seasons and look at all those classics of frag movies, then usually you do see Badlands or Prolands for that matter there. And now we're back on familiar turf. We finally come home. For some players, that might be a dream. For others, it's a nightmare. For everyone new to this, by the way, what mainly changes here from Prolands compared to Badlands is the last point and also some time and spawn alterations alongside with map geometry. Optimizations, I'd say, especially on the second point, on this launch pad area where you don't clip when you have a skip jump as a soldier as much. But now my talking ends and the action begins as it was a nail biter on Sunshine, as a 3-2-2 victory goes the way of Witness Gaming on their own map pick. But now Forfans can prove their own ground on an old school map. It is Prolands.
Yeah, and Lucas has not lost anything on this map. Perfect rollout from him. Going to be onto this mid super, super quick. We've got some space up on this trade area. Have the Frenchies there looking to just put themselves forward now, put themselves across the front. They have more space, but they've lost both of their soldiers in the meantime. Lucas is able to W forward. He's not particularly loaded here. It's going to have to wait a while. There's a flank coming in from Thomas, but he takes a ton of damage for his trouble. Going to duel with Delhi in the house area. He's going to go down, and it is only QB alive as everyone else was swallowed up there by the Witness players.
Also swallowed up by Lucas Tank. Basically, this is why you add on Prolands middle on MGE to have so much free reign. It was insane. Lucas at the end of that mid-fight was completely uncontested, could use 3 to 4 stickies and 3 to 4 pipes onto the enemy team, completely unleash. No one was really dealing with him because they won the early flank fight on this side house. I know that there is also some derogatory term to use, but on the side wooden house, they won that and completely nuked them apart. Afterward, they battered away the remnants of those players, and they still feature 100% in their own banks. Sentry gun is down.
Yeah, double scout Uber straight into that pyro, as you'd expect to see on this map. Some cap time coming in already. But both the scouts are alive, and now this is just going to run on the rim around the edges. There's 2 soldiers on the low ground here, but it is just going to be Lucas. He's going to be able to walk onto the point. Nice little pipe onto Delhi to secure the round. And there we go, a first round here for Witness Gaming.
Witness Gaming show their combatants how it's done. A blast from the past, mayhaps. quick, lightning, speedy blitzkrieg round, you'd say. 2 minutes for a 1-0 lead. That is what we've seen out of Forfans in the previous map, but now Witness Gaming has unleashed and unlocked a new mechanic. Shoot to kill on the mid-fight, very comprehensively won, and then very quick conversion rate. It was all on QB holding his own, but he was not able to do it. Thomas and XC now, they're charging from their own main side area. They are now on the balcony trying to chase out Demul. Demul this time, but no auto. Demul has already inflicted the damage.
A super quick one from Demul onto auto. And now, in case of, can they play around Mula? He's levitated up in the air. And the focus fire and the supreme team play, the supreme deathmatch from Witness Gaming comes through. They just let their they have their medic go down and they just W forward with blood in the water. Absolutely ravenous and absolutely mulch what was attempted by the Frenchies just to absorb that aggression, but it was absolutely not happening there. Unstoppable stuff from Witness.
It was also wonderfully curated, not only through the valley underneath area from below the point, what you'd expect, but no, just from prior claimed positions on the high ground, then they all nuked them there in this valley area. It is Demur trying to battle forth though, since they see here Forfans, they don't feature a hefty Uber disadvantage as we saw in the prior round that they lost, is still in the top area of the lobby. Delhi has stickies on both the shudder areas and it does make some players shudder. It does make ultimately the Bluchman shudder, having to stare down the barrel of 3 to 4 players, and they're using this Uber, only gain 1 frag of it. Mula doesn't even have, only 90% on him. Delhi caught in transition, caught in technicalities. Can they have an Uber now? Thomas already threatening this integrity of the point.
It was used early, but there was no sentry gun set up now, and Sledge just dives on top of it. Effectively gets a force out of it. I don't know if Miller really had to pop Uber out there, but he was worried for his life. They're looking to maneuver out to second. Pappy's thinking about a back cap, sees a player back on the point, and is just going to think better of it. Backing up here. There is some cap time here. Nevo, Brudgeman now in with the bomb. Lucas is going to go down for it. They're going to continue to fight here, the Frenchies, and they have enough frags, and they have crucially the demo pick to maybe even push on to mid here.
They're eyeing this very golden mid fight new here. Brudgeman already leaps himself forward. Nevo was really winning that second point fight as he put himself into a forward high ground position to threat this point and also threat a high ground position. Ixi ultimately dealt with. We do see a pass. I was a little bit curious about it since you can stand still on the point to cap it. Obviously also don't be fooled. It doesn't cap in real time. One map, one pause apparently. But I mean, Forfans is already pulling back so strongly, and you know, last time that was a precursor to Witness Gaming calling the pause.
Yeah, it was. Looks like here, I mean, I'm seeing a couple of soldiers. I'm seeing a couple of soldiers in a world of hurt. Bridgman is, I mean, eyeball to eyeball here with Thomas. I don't think he's winning that. He doesn't have the most health in the world. You've also got Pappy on the other side of things. He is hiding in the little shithouse area, and he is thinking about bombing. Well, thinking about making some kind of play, but he himself is also super low. So I think we're likely to see both those soldiers go down as the pause ends. But I mean, I think the Frenchies, they have enough momentum, and crucially, they have a little bit more heals across their team that they probably will get this mid cap here.
If we shift our eyes to Ixi and QB, by the way, just underneath a little bit of a transitional phase from sort of battlements and the rollout to the valley side. I love, they're not staring themselves in the eyes, but you see both scouts in the air. Just Demul was claimed there. And now the winger from Ixi switches now to the scattergun, lethal in his hands versus QB. Can he win? He's still dodging! Ultimately being sorted down into pieces, sort out the opposing scout, and the red team here, Witness Gaming, is all over this point.
Yeah, the repush in from Witness Gaming immediately is, as soon as they got that frag onto Brudgeman, they just propel themselves forward. They're able to pull up the point here. What are you thinking about second? Because the positioning isn't amazing by the Frenchies here. They're going to allow Lucas to just propel himself up onto this fire area. Brudgeman is looking to contest him. He is going to be able to clean up Thomas with the help of Neva, but not before that Uber comes out. And it's going to be a much later use of that Uber by Witness Gaming. They're looking to chase Mula down.
Mula is leaving through the trash tall, or the trash sort of side of living. I'm not calling it out because it looked rather trash for them, but this is how it's called. And it was crazy though. How is Thomas allowed in for so long into 4 players? Forces ultimately the enemy medic, and they got lucky there almost that Lucas tank was juggled in the air. Otherwise, they could have been completely crossed off the senses, all of them. But Celentis also has a double frag for himself to feature there on the high ground control. Nevo alongside with his fellow compatriots, they're still controlling this. XD already on the point, and it's fully sticky. They don't have anyone really to deal with it. And ultimately, Lucas comes upon the point. So many eyeballs were screwed up to the different side, and it's a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, Lucas just being super smart, playing those stickies on the point immediately, flooding in through main. If those stickies ended up getting scattered by one of the French soldiers, but ended up being into his own scout, so absolute disaster there. I mean, they're on the back foot the whole of that push, and for quite a while, just having the picks in Witness' favour, and now they're 2-0 up.
I don't want to pound the rubble, by the way, but if you open scoreboard, Lucas is on 19 points, Deli is on 2. And that might be, big air shot, I think we saw there on the side flank duel, dealing with Celentis deftly as they have to crash up their own enthusiasm anew as Forfans take that mid-fight by the sheer fact of them cleaning off 2 players. Dimur still chasing, but Thomas has Nevo snuck out. Deli now wins his rivalry fortress fight here. Peppy tries to go for the air shot, but there's Deli point blank in the face, and this prolonged mid-fight goes the way of Forfans.
Yeah, Brugeman calling out the 9 shot with Pappy hitting him there, and it's going to be, I mean, it's a nice air shot, it's a nice one for the frag video, but it is going to be the Frenchies looking to continue. They've already claimed the second point, they're already moving on to last. Auto was, I guess, disconnected for quite a while there because they're only just coming up to Uber now. And, I mean, they have the standard setup, they have the sentry gun, it's only level 1 as of yet. They've got the Pyro, Thomas, just reflecting a few projectiles. So it's just going to probably slow down a little bit as, maybe not if Lucas gets juggled, but doing his best. Actually, he's brought out the loose cannon here, which we've seen some spectacular loose cannon plays on this map before. Not quite as strong as it has been in days past, but still can be very impactful on this map.
Peppy propels himself forward. Deli has the Iron Bomber though to inflict a lot of lethal damage upon Peppy's face. Lucas uses the loose cannon because you can't be fast, loose and easy through a choke point. It is so narrow, you will get absolutely wrecked apart, and Offense is already tapping into that collective spirit. I always say this individual talent cannot replace institutional strength, and that means so many players are falling down like dominoes. Otto is in a forward position, might be forced now, and Mula doesn't even have to pop until now, I wanted to say. Until never, it seems.
Really nice coordinated spam. I mean, Babby does eventually clean up Deli, and with Demul going down as well, Mula is going to have to kite all the way back, probably to his own choke here on mid. They might even have to give second up. The spawns are not in their favour at all. I think there's very long extended spawn times. You know, you do spawn on the mid, but it's much longer than it was in previous Badlands, stock Badlands versions. So has given an opportunity here for Witness to push out. Actually, with so much damage on Tabula, they've forced him out.
But probably not going to find all that much of it. Forfans got really screwed over by this spawn wave here. Now the trash side is where we have to PI towards. Mul is already setting the sky ablaze, but ultimately being nuked upon by the opposing team's players that are still quite healthy. And Peppy has Bruchman sorted out as well. Deli only has some loose pipes flung over, and I'm already ready to call out the first mistake here, honestly. Maybe Mula should have used on that last point. Also, we see QB hiding under the point, snacking in now, and he's onto the medic here. Can he shoot the enemy medic apart? Cannot do so. Demul claims Lucas tank.
So many things. There's a sniper, there's Demul, there's Deli just spamming in from choke.
There's Bruchman! Bruchman! Oh.
What a serve from Orso! Oh my god, launches himself into his own house from his own kind of shithouse area. Crazy serve, keeping himself alive and keeping his Uber intact, as now Witness have a springboard to maneuver in towards last.
In the wake and the face of 3 to 4 players hiding, you called it out. Maybe Otto was not aware of all of the threats, but he was able to weather them either way. And Lucas now is eyeing up his medic to connect to him since 30% Uber advantage. Let's go team, I'd wager.
Yeah, just going to be top left demo scout Uber into that pyro sentry as we kind of expect. Uber does eventually get blown up just a little bit after that sentry gun does still stickies on the point from the French side of things. It's going to be Deli stickies on the point for now, but Lucas is going to drop down towards it. Mula takes a lot of incoming damage, but he's bought enough time for his own Uber to come up. I don't think they're going to be able to chase too many players down here for fence, but at least they survive for now.
Mula put himself into a forward position, a relatively forward position, relative to his own players, but he was expecting a player to snuck in through the lower area, but no way and time of analyzing that, as there's so much deathmatch here. He's already running to the last point, and he's a scout. That means he can cap it so insanely fast. A 3-0 lead, and for fans, you slip up 1-2 minuscule little times, and Witness Gaming is the international, the world champion for a reason. Basically, they screw you over.
Yeah, absolutely. They just kited it perfectly back, though. Witness just baited the Frenchies into that kind of upper lobby area. As soon as Demul goes down there, the Frenchies are in for a world of hurt, just overstaying, getting completely encircled, completely scissored, and really heavily punished for it.
Last time though, Forfans looked formidable on the mid point, and let's see if that can be a replica of the previously mentioned mid. Now Thomas and Ixi, they control this train area, are not being run trains on them. Now Celentis is in behind, we just forgot what just happened. Thomas is now dealt with though, Nevo gets revenge alongside with Grudgeman, and Auto down to half HP. They are sort of circling here. Grudgeman is on his own cafe area, Peppy rather bombing on Deli. They win that by very smart positioning. Lucas still in, but shouldn't really offer any opposition.
Yeah, looking to continue this fight here are Lucas
and
Auto, but now Auto is he's doing his best to juke Brunchman, and actually does survive all that. Lucas went super low as well, does get the force out. Auto feeling he had to pop out to save himself and his demo man there. So will be a big Uber advantage here for Forfence, and they need this round to bring it back to a little bit closer.
While all of this ring around Rosie was ongoing, Mula and QB alongside with Nevo, they were keeping the objective in mind. It is CP Prolands, control points, capture the points. They did do that quite succinctly, and now we're eyeing up 100%. Peppy is hiding in plain sight, but he can't really force the Uber. Nothing is found as of now just yet. Uber's over, sentry gun down.
Yeah, not the most successful Uber in the world, but it's now going to be up to QB to put himself towards the point, but they're just losing players here. Peppy takes out QB, and just everyone going down. Thomas Wing forward with that pyro is going to get the frag down onto Mula. There's one last opportunity. Is going to be Deli running in from the bottom right, but he's got to deal with a bunch of stickies and a full health heavy weapons guy.
At least he's looking Auto, Ixi and Lucas Tank down to the last point. Not sure if they're trolling a bit, playing with their own food, now trailing themselves, Thomas and Auto with the beam to their own battlements area. Thomas has fresh unlocked avarice and health for the enemy team to battle them on the spire. Demul now has a little bit of a circle bomb. Buchman follows up with his own kind, in kind. The pop comes out. Lucas is juggled in the air, almost dies there. Celentis also down for the count, dominated. Those Forfence players are hiding out of sight.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they're expected to get with that Uber. The bomb is in from Deli. He's just launching himself onto the spire. The soldiers are following up. I don't know if they've done enough damage. Deli, though, is still alive throughout all of that. It's just Ixi, the lone survivor here for Witness Gaming, as they were completely crushed by those flying explosive classes. But for the French team, as they were just propelling themselves forward, even while they had their sniper up.
I'm suffering massive déjà vus from Sunshine, where the Frenchies were also encircling Witness Gaming in positions and situations where Witness Gaming was not really expecting it to be. They were sort of caught up in their own Uber engagement technicalities there on the top, but really didn't amount to anything at all. You can only do so much as tantamountly acclaim as a look at Buchman, look at Deli. They're all being buffed up, and now it's their time to shine with an Uber advantage.
Yeah, back on the double scout now for the French. Just going to use the Uber. This time the gun goes down a lot faster. It's going to allow Tibble just to jump into that right spawn door and stuff everyone in there. No one can leave. Just going to buy enough time for Nevo to just lick the point. Just deal with those stickies, and where they will cap out a round and bring it back to a contest here.
They not only shown with the Uber, they shown indeed in terms of individual plays. That was wonderfully recognized. I mean, you are simply pushing the enemy team out of their stairs position. Sentry gun went down so much faster than the prior push. Also, if you use an Uber, that definitely helps. And then a double soldier bomb onto the opposing team's a mirrored spawn, so they can't leave out, and it leaves the point open to the grabs. Now Forfans is so much faster here on this mid-fight, it feels to me, but ultimately Delhi suffers definitely by Thomas' hands. There's a pipe, there's a bomb, Peppy is nuking Mula apart.
Really nice late bomb by Pappy, and Thomas wins the DM as well, just cleaning up Rudgman. There was a couple of hiders here, a couple of scouts unaccounted for. QB just 9 HP, but we know how lethal it can be. Not this time. Thomas shuts him down. Nevo is also going to get destroyed by Cylinders, and that is everyone out for the counter. Quite a long spawn on those scouts as well, so it's not going to be the off classes for quite a while here for the French team, as Witness are looking to really make the most of it.
Witness Gaming is switching from a trot to a counter. Not a Pyrrhic victory in all sorts of ways, since keeping the most important domino piece in play here, that is auto. Now Uber is used, Nevu is deflecting this very aggressive foray. Thomas already has the point a little bit capped here. Delhi down for the count. No defensive stickies to be helped on this point, and now so much damage flung upon this point. It's also a double cap, a triple cap, and a 4-1. So methodically played. Play the long-term fight. You're on a high ground, but we are subtracting so much health, and alongside that you have to worry about the cap progress.
Absolutely. Clean push, obviously, with those two scouts going down super late. They didn't have to worry about a sentry gun, only had to worry about heavy weapons going out. It's a lot easier to deal with if you can just rush your players in. They really made the most of it there. Witness back to 4-1. Still 12 minutes left, so still an opportunity for the Frenchies to come back into this, but they're going to need it because they cannot lose another round.
There's a high bomb from the Mool, almost hits the air shot. It's a double bomb now. Blutspin is on auto as well. Can they safeguard their own medic? Mula with the shift our eyes to the opposing team's side. Then it is them all trying to scour out, but they cannot find a salvation. The double bomb comes through and Nevo is down. They were banking on it. Double bomb on auto. Yeah, that's nice. 3 players down for Witness Gaming. But you know what happens when Witness Gaming double bomb? It's a 6k.
Absolutely, and Auto's got a little bit of a quicker spawn. I mean, he's been disconnected for a little bit. I don't know if he was waiting on forward spawn, looks like so. It's not going to have any Uber advantage to work with, but either way, I think Witness will be nice and happy. Win the mid-fight, get control of that, get themselves a launch pad to really play the game at their pace, because they're 3 rounds up. There's only 11 minutes left. It's going to need some kind of epic comeback, and actually the Frenchies look like their chance of their hand just moving in through Valley here.
QB reigned triumphant over a cheekily hiding Thomas. Peppy is down for the count as well, so basically 2 picks for themselves. Ixie also a little bit trapped in forward. Bruchman tries to open up a new flank, and Otto is immediately eradicated as well. Dimur able to keep himself alive on such a low HP amount. The health numbers are not subtracted enough. Only Peppy and Thomas leaving. And it is ample time to pull it back, but there's still a hiding Thomas in behind, being pesky, being awkward, being annoying.
Yeah, a couple of players committed to potentially deal with him. He's still keeping himself alive, still going in behind into the enemy house, going to wait for that health pack. So they still have to worry about that. They still have to worry about the backup as well, which we saw him pull off very impactfully on a week 1 official in a similar
Uber advantage push.
This.
Coming out now. Sentry got immediately down. No pyro on the field. There's a back cap shenanigan going, but it means 6 versus 5 on the front flank. Salentus wins versus Demur, and that is the most important player that you need to keep yourself. And now the back cap comes to full fruition. Otto is down. Lucas a double donk in the matter of 1 second. 2k for him, and if they don't win this deathmatch fight there on the last point, they kept it. But Thomas also in behind still. Bruchman deals with him. That is not what fans wanted to see.
No, Thomas just doing what he does best, just making the most just absolute giga brain play from him, going in behind, baiting so many players back. They didn't want to chase him and they had to give up that space on the second point, allow him to come through with the back up to Muldo. He's in a really nice position here. He's going to flood in behind the exiting Witness Gaming players. Doesn't quite find what he would have wanted. There's so much damage on just so many red players here, but they will survive throughout all of it and will get themselves back to the setup on last.
The most crucial player that was exited from this very server was Talentus on the sniper role, and Thomas is now also falling, so it's 2 players down. To make that 3, and Nivo has some sticky shot apart. Much kept time here. It's a 2-4. They are narrowing out this lead from Witness Gaming, and basically caught Salentis there. Mula also was having the counting in his head. We have an uber advantage, just all plow through. Very cookie cutter as well, but I mean, still 8.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, really nice conversion. I thought maybe the opportunity was lost when Dimmel didn't quite find a frag, despite doing 1 million damage there. But crucially, you know, they were not really set up there, Witness Gaming, and the Frenchies chased forward super early, pushed on their advantage, and really made the most of it. And now another mid-fight here to try and bring it back.
There's a huge nuke though on Mula, and Auto is immediately eradicated. It doesn't work though. It's not even the soldiers this time around. It was the Witness Gaming scouts moving so lethal to the opposition. It's a full wipe. Auto going down. The only last salvation I can offer to fans, as it is Witness Gaming trying to have an early night. 5-2 could be on the horizon. Not being able to rein in the enemy team, fans couldn't reciprocate because double scout.
That was all down to Ixie, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how much Thomas did, but Ixie just hit like 6 to 8 just straight beat shots on players that hadn't quite spotted out where he was, and just absolutely emulsified the enemy team. Looking to pressure in towards this Bride Rock area now, but with Nevo and QB are the ones with that tandem damage. Auto taking a lot of damage in the meantime. But there's actually a backup by Thomas throughout all of that, and Thomas is proving a backup master on this masterful backup map of Prolands, and he wins his game that round and secures the map here for Witness Gaming.
To put it into 4 small letters. What? I was so ready. fans was pulling back on that second point, taking high grounds, and then shooting Auto down to 50 HP. Mula also realized, yeah, we might have a slight uber disadvantage, but doesn't really matter. We have high ground and everything, and then they just backcap it like that. I want my money back.
I didn't even realize second had been capped. Thomas was just on another level. He was well aware of exactly what was going on, and clearly no one of the fans had any clue what was happening. I had no clue what was happening in the caster booth either. And he was just on another level and on another plane of existence, and just really, you know, capitalizing off playing to the kind of the strengths of the map. One of the things about this map is that last point can be back up quite readily. You know, there's so many places you have to spot out. You're not going to see every single one of them. You're not going to see every hiding spot. You're not going to see every flank entrance. So if the opportunity presents it to you for a scout to sneak in and get on that last point, caps out super quickly. And Thomas really making the most of it with the Giga Brain players.
Maybe a rather surprising and phantasmagorical introduction once more to Proland. Coup d'etat was tasked on fans. I am tasking ourselves with looking at logs, and this is a 5-2 scoreline in the matter of 21 minutes. QB tops the charts in terms of frags, 22 go his own face, but if we look at Thomas, who is the pocket scout, he only comes in the 3rd place, and also he only features 5 caps for himself. I mean, 2 were the most clinical ones, the last caps, the back caps. You can't really account the mental exercise or fortitude rather provided to it, the psychological warfare it inflicts rather. Ixie also 14 caps. Let's eye up damage per minute stats for a change. Thomas tops those charts as well, 333. Lucas then comes soon thereafter, 331. Also keeps himself alive quite evidently, 2.1 KD. The same was not really provided by Delhi, 0.9 KD. A stark difference within the total frags this time around, 86 go the way of Witness Gaming, and a mirror image, 68 frags go the way of Forfans. A lot of talking about logs. What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about that one man Thomas, really, top of the damage on both of these maps here tonight. And, I think he's had a bit of a quiet start to the season, didn't really completely pop off on the first 2 rounds of matches. But here, coming up against strong opposition in Forfence, really brought his A game and really brought his brain, particularly to this second map. I have to commend Forfence not only for, bringing a real great contest to this game, but also having the balls to pick a map like Prolands. Didn't quite work out for them tonight, unfortunately. I think Witness overall just looked a little too smart, a little too canny on this map for the Frenchies to deal with. weren't quite a match for their illustrious opponents on this second map of Prolands, but regardless, they'll be going forward. They can take a few positives from that, and maybe also learn a few lessons, as likely these two teams will be facing off against each other later on in the season in playoffs.
Truly, I mean, Forfans shouldn't be too bothered. Probably their playoff spot, or that they are in the playoffs at all, is not that jeopardized by that. I just want to have one quick note here on logs. We didn't call out medics before. I think 3 to 5 on Sunshine deaths that were quite low on both of those medics this time around. Dying a bit more, so 8 to 6. Wula again with more deaths than Auto. But that was it from us. I don't want to strap players in for too long. We have just reached the pastime of this very season on week 3. In German, you would say Bergfest für alle. I'm saying this because we also have a German LAN, or LAN in Germany rather, on the horizon in 1 month's time. But that was it from us. We are essential. Thanks for everyone who kept us company, who subbed, who bet with their medal. I think you can still do that, and also to Manco Store for sponsoring it all. I was and will be Domato, maybe also on LAN. With me was Dave. It was, as always, a great pleasure. Ben PL on production. We just brought you the two titans, Forfans versus Witness Gaming. Witness Gaming sneaking away with it on Sunshine, obliterating Forfans and showing them new heights on Prolands. That was it from us. They take the 6-0 points, and we will catch you next time.